In the case of different kinds of networks, we can talk about the difference between a closed network and an open network. Now, a closed network is, well, like it sounds, it's a collection of devices and resources that are closed off from the world. None of these resources are accessible outside of our individual environment. A good example of this would be a military network. Usually in a military network, only the people that are within that particular military organization are able to access the resources available within that network. Very commonly considered a closed network, especially as you start getting into the secret and top secret levels of those types of networks. Most corporations don't operate in this kind of closed network fashion. They operate more in a open/closed type environment where they have some of their resources accessible to the outside world, particularly their customers, and then the rest of the network remains closed and only accessible to trusted individuals within the corporation or consultants that come in that are helping them with particular projects. An important thing here to consider is that even in a closed network, internal network attacks are still possible. In the United States, the FBI identified that 70% of all damaging attacks, at least financially damaging attacks, happen based on an internal attack. So somebody that was trusted within the network, closed or otherwise, was the person who launched the attack. This could be an unintentional type attack where somebody accidentally deleted the company's database and destroyed all the tapes, or it could be a malicious attack where somebody writes something like a worm virus or a logic bomb to affect the entire network as they're being escorted out of the building because they got fired. Disgruntled employees happen. Things of this nature occur, so you need to look at security not just from a external, hard outer shell type scenario where you've built firewalls and perimeter type security to make sure that people can't get in, but also look at from a perspective of your users are also untrusted individuals on your network as well. They've got a little bit more trust. They have access to our corporate resources, but it's the resources that you're trying to protect in the long run. That's where your intellectual property is. That's the information you want to protect. So that's really the most trusted part of your network, is that actual data repository within your network. And your users should be looked at from a perspective of from a security perspective of being semi-trusted. I'll put it that way. Now, in the case of an open network, this is where we have a lot of publicly connected networks all attached within our network. A good example of that would be the Internet, or anytime we're using the Internet as a core function of our business. So large companies like a Google or a Yahoo, their network is essentially an open network for the most part. We have access as consumers to get to the resources they're making available to us via the Internet. Other companies use the Internet for means to deploy remote sales force and expect that those users are going to be using the Internet through whatever means they're going to be available to them. Again, hotel networks, hotspots, and so on, but use some kind of virtual private network type technology to ensure that their access to the closed corporate network is kept from prying eyes, that we have some level of encryption, some privacy there, and some authentication to make sure these are the users who are expecting to use this kind of connection. So there's another example of combining that open and closed network type environment, letting our external users access our network via an open network to get to the closed network within our company.